All right. Good morning, amazing Remax agents. I am so excited about this little mini workshop kind of chat with my good friend Peter Grosso. Peter, what's up, man?
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
So, guys, I am excited. Peter and I have been working together off and on for the past year. And I'm so excited to say that Peter is going to be one of the new coaches at Level Up. You're going to see him more often, at least once a month. You'll see his face. He's got some insights that will just rock your world as real estate agents. So I'm pretty excited about that. Peter, all right. So before we really dive into some fun stuff, let's go into your backstory a minute, man. So I know kind of open the doors a little bit, see what's inside the closet of Peter, but how did you get to the place you are now? I mean, you are the broker owner of Remax Integrity Leaders up in New York, and so where do we go from here, man? Where did this start?
So I actually had a windy road in my life and never would have saw myself where I am today from where I was a little over a decade ago. I was actually a union iron worker. If you don't know what an iron worker is, those are the guys. You see the picture of the guy sitting on a beam over Rockefeller Center. That was my job. And I loved it. I thought I was going to be the president of Local 361. That was my goal in life. And one day while I was walking across a beam, I stepped on something that was supposed to be tied down and it wasn't. And I fell 18 feet to a lower roof. I broke my ankle, my leg, and my back. And I was actually on Met Stadium. I was on Citi Field, Met Stadium, and they used a crane to lift me up.
Wow.
And brought me down onto the pitcher's mound so they could take me to the hospital. So that was my last day working as an iron worker. And I spent 3 or 4 years going through different surgeries. And I was walking with a cane for years. And I sort of had to reinvent myself. So during that time, the financial crisis had happened. And I was very interested in why. So I had the time on my hands. So I ordered textbooks from like places like Yale University and Harvard. I took, at the time they were giving classes the classes at Yale and Harvard were put on iTunes.
Wow.
So I was literally taking economics classes from these really incredible teachers. And I just spent my time kind of like delving into that. So when I was able to get around and do stuff, I was really passionate about real estate because it just happened to be the topic of the day.
Yep.
Did a little bit of investing in different places, including Detroit. Ultimately, once I had my daughter, because I thought I was going to travel the country and buy a house in every state. But once I had my daughter, I didn't want to leave town. So I decided this is something I was going to try in my local area. So I got my real estate license. I went to 3 different brokerages and I sat with one of the brokers from Remax, Rita Takaris, and I was really impressed with her. While we were talking, I decided this was going to be my place. So I didn't think much of it. It was not going to be the central point of what I did. But she invited me to the award ceremony, which was a couple weeks later. And keep in mind, I had never even didn't know anything. And I'm at this event, never even had a real estate conversation yet. And I saw all these people getting awards and winning, and I wasn't.
You're like, what's up with that, dude? You got to be part of that.
So I did remember clearly deciding in that moment that I wanted to compete. And this was something I was going to give everything to see if I belonged up there on stage, getting an award. So my first year, I sold 7 houses. By the end of my second year, I sold 47 houses. I was a top agent in the office. And by the end of that year, I took over that brokerage.
Love it.
And, and I own the #1 Remax on Long Island. And I'm 5 years in and I own 2 more.
Man, I tell you what, that's one of those stories you look at and you go, the title of this kind of workshop was the word hustle. And honestly, I think that's really what it takes sometimes. And honestly, you shift your mindset, really. I mean, honestly, that's what it really took. It took you a mindset shift to say, I want it. And how do I get there? And I think that story is unbelievable to think about. You know, you went from, you know, walking the steel beams to, you know, a life event happens. And you know, you're having a kid, shifted your mindset to saying, okay, I'm ready to make this work. And in 2 years, you made it work. I mean, really, in real estate, you took 2 years to really change your lifestyle, change who you know, what you were focusing on, right? And that's huge. Unbelievable.
And I think the overarching lesson I try to express to people is I'm not special.
Yep.
I mean, I am just an example of what anybody can do if they turn on their tenacity.
I love that.
If they decide that they are going to have tunnel vision on a goal, they can get there and they can create whatever they want to create, and understand the other side is that there's sacrifices with it too, right? And just being okay with those sacrifices for whatever the overarching goal is. And, you know, you got to talk to your family about it. You got to, and know that there were plenty of nights, even when I was only selling 7 houses, that I was not home for dinner.
Yep.
And I was doing whatever it took to be the person that I wanted to be and be the example for my kids and for other people on that. You know, a uneducated ironworking hump can become something more than what he is.
And I think that's for me, you know, you're really hitting it home for me. I mean, I'm an Eastern Kentucky boy. You know, I grew up when my dad was in the coal mines, and, you know, I barely saw him, you know, during the day, because literally I see him in the morning, and when he came back home, he was pitch black, you know, late at night. And, you know, that's what we grew up with. And, you know, to come from that to me owning several businesses, and, you know, I'm not just an Eastern Kentucky boy anymore. You know, and I think that's a great mindset to think. You know, honestly, it comes from being supportive. You know, it comes from being, you know, do you have support from other people as well? And I think, you know, you having support from your family, and you having support from the people in your industry, the lady that you started, you know, that got you excited about RE/MAX, you know, they got you excited about being part of this brokerage. You know, it just takes those little elements to really change your whole lifestyle, really. And so that's huge.
Right. And you have to remember to attach to those that do that for you.
Good.
Let those that don't go.
That's what I think. I think that's one of those that a lot of people forget. You know, you have to attach to the people that are actually supporting you. And sometimes you have to cut out some of the people that are not.
Right. And I think cut them out of your mind. I mean, there were plenty of people that told me I needed to slow down. There were plenty of people that told me, maybe they were right, but it wasn't.
I was saying, maybe they had some points in there.
Right. But it's, I knew in my heart what I needed and what I still need to prove. And I know I need to keep going, and that's just part of who I am. And I cling to those that are like-minded, and I cling to those that see the world the same way. And that's what's seriously important to me.
Guys, that's awesome. So here's the deal, man. I've came up with 9 different, I don't know if they're maybe not principles, but, you know, it's 9 different, how can I say it? Personalities, I guess, that really define a really amazing real estate agent, right? And so I'm going to give you some of these topics, and we're going to kind of chat a little bit about them. So the very first one that, you know, really struck a nerve with me being an entrepreneur was this one. It's the problem solver mindset. You know, this is one of those that I think every real estate agent, if we get to this place, you're going to be successful, because honestly, we have a lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love problems. And what I always say to my agents, I say it to my clients. And, you know, and the other day I had a conversation with one of my clients where she said, I'm so sorry you're having to solve all these problems. And I said, don't be, because you'd have no idea how valuable I was if we didn't have these problems.
Yep.
So having problems is a blessing, and being passionate about solving them is how you're going to grow your business, because there's no other way to show your value. So I want problems. The worst thing for my business is an easy transaction.
That's
because
great.
Now they can just hire anybody. There's no value to me.
It really sets us aside as real estate agents, because I think that's for me, I'm a coder. I built websites. You know, I've came up on every single project I do, there's problems. Right. But also it shifts everything to saying, how do I fix them? And I think that's, as real estate agents, that's what sets us apart is, we can problem solve. We can fix situations. We can make clients feel good when it looks grim,
And I think one of the important ways that we need to think about problem solving is understanding who we know, who we can lean on to solve those problems. I lean on you constantly to help my agents with tech stuff, and I know you do it better than me, and we can help each other. And there's places that I can help you. So the more of a network of people with skills that you have, the more value everyone brings to each other.
Now, I'm gonna change that, because the next topic we're gonna talk about in this personality is build a network of connections.
Yeah.
I think that's a lead in, because I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that RE/MAX is one of the, this organization strives on connections. Yeah. I can't tell you just in the past 3 years that I've been with RE/MAX that the connections I built. Literally, I could probably lay out a list of 40 people that I could probably, if I have an issue, I could literally call them and they would have an answer for me. Right or wrong, they would have an answer for me.
Right.
And I think that is where we are built to work with each other. That's just how, I'm a God-fearing Christian, man. And I'll be honest with you. I think that was the original intent. If you read the book of Acts, you really talks about, that we were built for each other. And honestly, that is where, we come in as real estate agents. We can work together and solve any problems.
That's right. And I have to say, with RE/MAX, it is amazing. Like, I can call my buddy Jeremy in Kentucky.
That's right.
What other world would I be able to do that and connect with you to be able to solve the problems that we solve together? Yep. Ultimately, any business, but especially real estate, is about knowing people and knowing how to both guide your clients towards the people that will take care of you and them. And just having the right network of people that can aid your business. I
think that as real estate agents, man, that having that in your back pocket, I call it toolboxes. It's a tool in my toolbox. Yeah. And so as a real estate agent, if you don't have that list of people that can basically change a deal from being going to gone, if you don't have that, you should have it right now. So don't wait till tomorrow. Go ahead and today and pick out a sheet of paper, and I want you to write down what that person does and their name and their phone number.
Not only that, you need to have people in your life that can solve any problem, because, and I built a whole app around about knowing people, because if you're the person that knows somebody for everything, you're the person that's always top of mind. I've always been the guy who has the guy. So if you need a painter, you're calling me. It has nothing to do with real estate, but you're calling me to see who I recommend as a painter. If there's anytime someone calls me and says, do you have someone that does this? And if my answer is no, I feel horrible. I feel like a failure, and I need to find that person that's reliable. So if it ever comes up again, I'm still the person that can solve all problems, because if I can solve all problems, when real estate comes up, I'm their problem solver.
That's fantastic. I think that we all need to be problem solvers, man, and build that connection with people. All right, so the next one is self-motivated entrepreneur. So this one gets me excited. About 10 years ago, I think so, something like that, I read the book. Now I've totally lost it in my head. It's by Seth Godin, and it's I'll remember the name in a minute. The book is unbelievable. It literally shifts your mindset. I just thought of it. Dang it, Jeremy. I'll think of it in a minute.
It's amazing. I have to say, yeah.
It is this book, and I'll name it in a minute, but this book literally, it shifts your mindset from thinking, you have to rely on other people to, you already have it inside of you to be the game changer. And so you just have to use some creativity. And so as a real estate agent, you are an entrepreneur. You just are. You're building your own business. But being self-motivated is where sometimes real estate agents kind of may lacking a little bit.
I completely agree, and I think one of the things they're missing, and the analogy I just brought on 2 new agents this weekend, and I gave the same analogy to both of them, that this business is amazing, and work ethic is rule number 1, and tenacity is the most important thing to creating your career to get from like level 0 to level 3, and then systems have to be applied. But I say treat it like an airplane. You can decide how high you want to fly, but it takes a certain amount of speed to get off the ground. And you have to, when you first start, go at that speed.
That's really good.
Yeah, there's no other choice. So like and I think what people miss is that they're unexcited about failure, and they're getting failures and not realizing the wonderful opportunity that they are. That and I had a conversation with one of my agents yesterday that had a deal die, and he's a new agent. He's doing great, but there was a few things that I would have done differently. And it was actually wonderful that this thing died, because we had this great talk about how we could have prepped the client for these conversations, how we could have had these issues preemptively handled before they actually came up. And that's something that will never happen again. So instead of going, I failed, and this is not, maybe this business isn't for me, or this business is harder than it looks. You take every failure as a great opportunity to go, what could I have done differently? And success too. I think when you have a success, there's too much cheerleading and not enough, what could I have actually done better?
That's great, man. I think that's huge right there, because, when I built some amazing platforms in the past, and I've went back and I've always thought, what could have made it better? And I think that's what really propelled me to building other platforms and building new things, is that I'm always looking for the next thing. And you think, that guy that did that agent that had the deal that went through, fell through, whatever, what if now that he knows, now he's not going to lose the $1 million deal that he gets, down the road.
Absolutely.
And that's the game changer. Okay. The book it came to my head now. It's actually called Lynchpin, and it is by Seth Godin. And if you haven't read that book, let me tell you, just read it today. If you're an entrepreneur type spirit, you're going to fall in love with it, and you're going to get excited about the next project or next opportunities you have because of that book.
I've watched hours and hours of him speaking.
Me too.
But let me say one more thing. I think it's really important that when you think about motivation, you think about it less about excitement and energy and more about dedication, because there are days that your world is upside down. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't life is hard, and it beats you up. And there are things that happen personally in your life. There's things that happen in your business that make you question what you want to do. If you want to
every day.
Yeah. And the difference is, if you're thinking about the next 10 years, if you got out of bed that day, if you still did the thing that day, where you would be 10 years from now. And those are the difference makers. The bad days, the hard days, the sad days, the depressed days. Those are the days that you got to keep pushing. And that's what a self-motivated entrepreneur could do, because they don't have to get out of bed. They're their own boss, right?
Right.
And that's the difference. And that's where you'll see the real significance in your life, is if you're able to do that.
Great words. I tell you what, this next one is one that's near and dear to my heart. It's really honesty, integrity, and it goes hand in hand. I don't know about you, but if you've been in this real estate industry more than a month or two, you will get hit with people that they lack honesty and integrity. And it's kind of almost feels like sometimes you're like, are you kidding me? They said that to that. And it's almost like it just doesn't make sense. So I think that if we can all get to the place where we have honesty and integrity in everything we do, that goes as far as saying you say something, you're actually going to follow through. And I think that's a big deal, man.
I completely agree. And, my brokerage is integrity leaders. Like that's, it's one of the most pillars of our concept. And I think the world that we're in today, more than any other time, honesty, integrity wins, because we're in a world where we're in front of everybody all the time. And so it's harder to hide.
It's true. When
you're doing wrong. And especially if you're using social media and you're doing video, which you must do. I'm begging you.
Preach it.
the best results come from being your honest self. The best results come from showing your true colors. And with one of my agents, Linda, put it best. She said, I said, "What'd you do? That was great." And she said, "I just talked to the camera like I was talking to my best friend."
I love it.
And if you can be yourself and be your honest self, you will attract those that are most likely to enjoy and want to do business with you.
I'll tell you what, that's a clip I'm going to copy and paste and put out there several times, man, because, you know, in this world, you know, especially with this crazy things happened last year, you know, people are, you know, they're really wanting true self. They really want to hear from you. And honestly, what people are kind of surprised, you actually have cheerleaders out there that are just waiting for you to get on camera and waiting for you to talk to them.
Yeah.
And they're willing to they're just waiting to push the like button, honestly.
I've had so many exampals of that where, like, just the other day, maybe I didn't make a video for 3 or 4 days and someone texted me, "Hey Pete, just checking in. Want to know if you're okay. I miss your video." But I've had people, and what you don't know, and if you're honest to the camera and actually, you know, and bare yourself to the world, you don't know who you're helping and who you're connecting with. And I've had situations where, like, people have reached out where I posted a sweatshirt, like there's nothing, and they just texted me, "Hey Pete, I want to buy your sweatshirt as a thank you. You made a video 6 months ago that really helped me."
Yeah.
And you know, I was really touched, but I also would not have known unless I posted a sweatshirt. So you don't even know who you're helping, or, you know, or how many people you've helped if you're being your honest and true self. But I can tell you that you are.
I love it.
If you could do that, please do it and speak to the camera in a way that is you.
We all have those moments we need to share. And it'll it could be a game changer for one person, and that video is worth it for that.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a new agent, and I'll bring her up. There's a new agent down in Tennessee that her name's Sierra, and I just onboarded her to help her do the onboarding for her. And I've been following her on social media. She's just brand new agent, literally just right into the gates. And she's doing this every day. She does these short videos on her Facebook page, and they're like Trusting Tuesday, and like they're awesome. And there's small little tidbits just to get you motivated. Right. And I think those things right there will go the distance. And she don't even talk about real estate, which is, I love it. Yeah. You know, because then people start trusting you, and they're like, "Oh, she's awesome. Oh, I need to sell my house." And who are they going to think of? The person that they trust. And I think that is awesome. Huge tips there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's keep going. The next one is, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's hustle and tenacity. You know, when you get up at 6:30 in the morning because you have a workshop at 8, you know, and you're studying, you're trying to figure out the right words to say, that's hustle, guys. You know, when you're going to mulch your client's yard, you know, when you know it needs to be, you know, you got an open house coming in an hour, you know, that's hustle, that's tenacity, right?
Absolutely. And I can tell you, in this business, those are the two things that are going to get you to, like I said, from level 0 to level 3. Hard work will get you a tremendous amount of just hard work. And let me tell you a quick story and why this is true in any industry. So if anyone's listening outside of this industry too, when I was an iron worker, my first day of work, I got sent to the 58th Street Bridge in Queens, and I'm a kid. I got lost. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what a shanty looked like. And I was driving up and down the bridge for hours. I didn't find the job site till 10 o'clock in the morning, and for a 7 a.m. start. And the foreman, who turned out to be a famous, you know, one of the high profile foremen, he cursed me out. I'm going to omit all the curses, but he said, if I'm ever late again, I'll never work in the business again. And he said, and he goes, "Let me give you some effing advice. If you show up early and you work harder than anyone else, you will be better than 80% of the field right out of the gate." And so that is all it takes to get past most of the field that you're in, is hustle and tenacity. And then what you got to do is figure out how to get past the other 20%.
And every time I do workshops, I'm talking about marketing and promotions with real estate agents. I always tell them, guys, you are not competing with all 100% of agents in your marketplace. You're not.
Yeah.
You're only competing with about 10%. And
Right.
so, if you can just take your level to the next level slightly, you're already going to be there.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I did, Jeremy, that next morning and for the next year, I was on the job site every morning at 4:30 in the morning for a 6 a.m. start. And I made sure that he saw me every time he drew me, I beat him in so that he had to see that I took his advice.
I love that. I mean, it changes people's mindsets when they start seeing that too. And it's awesome. All right. The next one is, which this could be kind of tricky here, is engaging personality.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I like to have fun. I'm one of those people that just literally, you could talk to me about anything and I'm just going to have fun with it. And I think you're the same way, Pete. I think, you just bring up anything to us and we're going to have some fun with it. And we're going to either say something stupid or we're going to say something that's insightful. And that's okay. How are real estate agents, how is having an engaging personality going to propel their business a little bit?
So this is a person business. So if you walk into a listing appointment, relax. These are people. These are your new friends. This is your new family. Walk in and don't go in to sell them and convince them that you're going to be their listing agent. Walk in and go and be ready to guide them and talk to your new friend and family about how to do what's best for them.
I love it.
That is exactly how you develop the connection, how they get to see who you really are. And the rule that is famous and is true, they don't care how much you know if they don't know how much you care.
Man, I think that's one of those phrases you should put on t-shirts because it's the truth. It really goes to, do you care for the people that you're getting ready to work with? And do you care? And if you don't, and it shows, by the way, I've worked with real estate agents in the past that have not cared. They're there for the dollar. They're there for the money and that's it. And they could care less. But I've also seen those agents, especially some agents in my office and the agents I've worked with in the past, you can just, and people know whether you care or not. And it's one of those things you can't really fake. You can't. I mean, I've seen people fake it and it's not good. As an agent, when you're going to work with somebody, go in actually caring. I know it could take some mind shifting here, but it will game change your business.
It does. And I can tell you the richest people I know that sell the most houses, that deal with them, you would think they're callous to it because they're selling and interacting with so many people. They care the most.
I agree.
And so
I love it.
Pays you a lot more money to enjoy your job and to care. All
right. So I got 3 more, man. So the next 3 are pretty good. This one's attention to detail. So why in the world does real estate agents have to actually have some detail in there, man?
So one, there's obviously a process to all of this, and there's obviously lots of paperwork, lots of checklists, and if you don't attend to it, it's a house of cards, and it will.
So true.
It will fall apart, and I've been close to doing it myself. So it's really, really important to have some type of system in place from the beginning to help you keep it organized and keep it simple. Because as you grow, you're going to have to add more details and think about how to keep it more simple, even as it gets more complicated. So if it's not who you are, you better work on that system early. And then as you grow and as you get better, you better start hiring people that are better at it than you, which is what I had to do. I hustle and leave a mess, right?
That's so me too, man. I'm in the same boat with your brother.
So I learned how to keep a checklist, make sure I got the stuff done. And as soon as I made enough money to help get someone to pick up those pieces for me, it's the first thing I did, and it made me a lot more money to hire someone to do it.
I think attention to detail is huge. I think that you either can do the checklist or you can't, and if you can't, you need to hire someone that can. And I think that's a shift for a lot of real estate agents. That some real estate agents are very successful, but they suck at this. Yeah. And so, when you're at that point where you can actually hire someone to take off just a little bit of that, you're going to see your business succeed huge. because of that little step you took. Sometimes for me, I mean, I ran a printing business for years. I still do. You know, I look at it and go, you know, if I would have made that shift 5 years earlier, you know, when I could have afforded it, but if I could make that shift 5 years earlier, that could be a complete game changer for me. Because I'm all over the place. I'm ADD and squirrel moments all over the place. So, you know, I think that you just had to know what road you want to go down and know how to fill those gaps.
Yeah. And it's also really important to remember you're an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is not someone that does it all themselves. An entrepreneur is someone that sets up organization, that sets it up in a way that creates something special by leveraging talent and skill and other people and systems. So if you're not thinking that way, then you're not thinking as an entrepreneur, and this is an entrepreneur's business.
I love it, man. All right, last two, man, before we kick off. This one's understanding the local housing market. How is it important? Because I know some agents that have no clue about this point. But you know, why is it important for your agent to know this housing market, though, inside and out, right?
Yeah, one, it's a wild housing market, and it's on the news every day. It's in your face. So God forbid, first of all, last thing you want is your seller or buyer to know more than you do.
That's scary.
Yeah, because it's in the news. So it's just super important for that reason. But also just being tapped in to the ebbs and flows of the market, so that you can be ahead of the curve, that you can understand that the advice you told 3 weeks ago is no longer applies, and that there's other people still giving that advice, and now you're ahead of them. That I can't stress being tapped with that enough.
You know, I think that some of the success I've seen in the past is because I just knew just a little bit more than that other person. You know, and I think that's a huge element here. You know, people just don't know what they don't know. And if you can provide just a small insight to it, you could literally be the game changer they were looking for.
Having statements of what I call statements of value, and just showing people that you're more than a key turner, you're more than someone that does paper to list a house, means that you take charge. So if you go in there and you teach them something and you give them something that they can walk away with going, wow, this person knows more than me, then they're going to hand off their trust to you, and you have more control over the situation. The more control you have, the better chance you have of helping them.
I love it.
Super important.
All right, last one, man. This is the one that's it is near and dear to my heart. Is knowledge is power. You know, man, I love to learn new stuff, and I'm a geek like this. Sometimes in the time at home by myself, I will literally pull up, you know, websites, and I will start learning how to do new stuff. I just, you know, if I need to know, for example, like in our brokerage right now, we're building a platform where, I mean, we're using text message coding and all kinds of cool stuff I'm playing with, that we're going to be able to put signs out in agents' yards in these listings, and agents are going to be able to drive, people are going to be able to drive by, text a sign, and that lead information is going to be able to send to the agent, and already knows the guy's name. The guy already knows the guy's phone number, because the data is out there. Right. And so we're building this stuff. And honestly, 4 months down the road, 4 months ago, I would have never known how to do this. No clue. And I said, I'm going to learn how to do it. And literally the internet is so full of stuff. Now, there's good stuff and bad stuff on the internet, man. Honestly. I mean, I've learned some stuff. I'm like, well, that was stupid. And I'm like, you know, we just have to know what the balance is here.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you some of the most successful people are comfortable, one, taking time out. You can get so caught up in the day-to-day and working in your business and not on your business that you lose out on the future, and you don't realize, as much business as you might be doing, how much you're losing in the future. You have to carve out time to study and get to know what's coming, and also be willing to lose money. Once you get going and you start putting a good income together, you need to have the try it fund.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm trying 3 new things right now, and the winner gets all the whole third, right? Yep. So the whole 3/3, so I'm running 3 different new products, and I'm expecting at least 2 of them to bomb. I'm hoping they all don't bomb.
Yep.
But until I try it, I'm not going to know. And something is going to be the next thing. And if I'm there and trying it, then I can grab it and capitalize before anyone else.
So you brought up a huge element there. So, as real estate agents, obviously the market changes, different techniques changes. There's no more yellow pages anymore. They went to the wayside. And if you're still using yellow pages, please freaking stop. But, there's so many different things, especially I'm a marketing guy. That's what I believe in. I'm always thinking new marketing terms. I had a web show earlier at 10 o'clock today, and we're talking about the Super Bowl. And, I get excited about Super Bowl, but I'm more excited about the commercials. Because I get so excited seeing how companies leverage their powers to try to kind of convince people. And so as agents, we should always don't get stuck in the same boat, guys. I love the idea you just brought up, talking about having a what'd you call it? What fund?
The Try It Fund.
I love the Try It Fund because I wish I had a bigger Try It Fund. But agents should have a Try It Fund because they should try new things. If they've never sent out a postcard with some crazy stuff on it, you should try it. It does work. Have you never tried, different? There's so many Facebook marketing. If you ever tried that, you should try it. Right. You're either going to succeed or fail, but it's a learning opportunity for you, and that money will be well worth the spend if you learn something from it.
Right. Right. And even a failure, and we've said this before, that doesn't mean it won't spark an idea or some type of other inspiration that's going to make you a lot more money.
I love it. All right, guys. So that was about 8 or 9 different personalities of successful real estate agents. Peter, has been great talking this morning, man. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited that, you and I are going to be chatting a lot more and really kind of diving into, how do we help business owners? I don't know about you, but that's passion for me. Is how to see, not only see myself grow, but to see other people, reach their goals and their potentials. That just, it really just gets me excited.
Me too.
That's why you do what you do, man. All right, guys, I want to, we got more stuff coming up in the next few months. Lots of cool features happening with RE/MAX tools and technology. It's always changing. And I'm excited to have Pete on board with us to share some of his insightful knowledge and crazy antics. So be sure to follow him on social media, guys. I think if you just search Pocket Pete, it should come up. And follow what he's doing and watch his videos, guys. You'll learn just the small little things to hopefully challenge you to get outside your box, right? And have a little fun in this crazy world we live in. Guys, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys next week. All right, Pete. Thanks, buddy.
See you soon.